There's a scene in Interstellar that people have been making fun of for 10 years. Anne Hathaway, floating in a tin can 100 trillion miles from Earth, looks at Matthew McConaughey and argues they should fly to a planet because she's in love with the man already there. Love, she says, is real data. Love crosses space and time, and the internet has spent a decade rolling its eyes at it, the mushy bit, the moment a hard sci-fi movie suddenly went soft. Now, here's the theory though. She was right, and Cooper was wrong. Not right in a warm and fuzzy way, right on the science. At the one choice in the movie they could never take back, Brand picked the correct planet, and Cooper, the cool-headed pilot everyone trusts, picked a planet that didn't have a surface. His call gets a crewmate killed and nearly ends the mission, and the man who laughed her off falls into a black hole in credits for speech, by name as the thing that saves everyone. This channel digs into the story a movie's actually telling underneath the one you're supposed to see. Now, watch how Cooper frames his own decision right after he makes it.
No, this wasn't a personal decision.
The whole back half of the movie is about to call him a liar. Everything hinges on one room. The Endurance is parked out at Gargantua, the black hole, and the crew has burned too much fuel to visit both of the planets on their list. They pick one, Man's planet or Edmund's planet. One shot, no do-overs, and whichever way they point the ship, the other world is gone forever. So which one has the better case? The debate opens by conceding the answer before Brand says a word.
Yeah, Edmund's letter is better, but Dr. Mann is the one still transmitting it.
The number on Edmund's world are stronger. That's not Brand's opinion. It's baked into the dilemma itself. The only reason to lean the other way is that Mann's beacon is still pinging and Edmund's has gone quiet. And Brand doesn't argue from feelings. She argues from astrophysics. She points at the dead world they already visited, Miller's planet, the one orbiting tight around the black hole.
Miller's planet. Hydrocarbons, organics, yes. But no life. Sterile. And the same thing on Mann's.
Her actual case is the science. A planet circling a black hole gets sterilized.
Murphy's law. Whatever can happen will happen. Accident is the first building block of evolution, but when you're orbiting a black hole, not enough can happen.
Now, if that phrasing rings a bell, it should, because Cooper said those exact words back home, teaching his daughter what her own name meant, telling her Murphy's law wasn't a curse. The soft science is speaking his own lesson back at him, using it to explain why his pick is a tomb, and he still doesn't hear it. Mann's planet orbits Gargantua. Edmund's is the only candidate out in open space, away from the thing that just showed them a dead, sterile world. By Brand's own science, Mann's planet should be a graveyard for the exact same reason Miller's was. Cooper has no answer to that. None. So where does he go instead?
He's on the ground, and he's sending a very unambiguous message telling us to come to his planet.
He doesn't beat her science, he retreats to the beacon, the signal, and Brand gives up that one card without giving up the war.
Granted, but Edmund's data is more promising.
So Romilly calls for a vote.
We should vote.
Now, there is no vote. The instant the room learns Brand once loved Edmunds, her whole argument gets thrown in the trash. And here's the thing everyone forgets. The case for Mann's was never the numbers were better. It was that Mann was still transmitting. So the moment Brand's love life handed Cooper an out, he took it. He already decided.
TARS, chart a course for Dr. Mann.
That's the fork. He overrode the better data, dodged the science, and steered toward a beacon. Now, let me show you what that beacon actually was. They reach Mann's planet, they thaw out Dr. Mann, the legend, the man Cooper himself called the best of them, and for a little while it looks like Cooper guessed right. Then Mann tries to murder him on a glacier. When the mask drops, Cooper gets the truth out of him between gasps for air.
You faked all the data.
Yes.
There's no surface.
No.
So sit with that. The dataset Cooper trusted over a trained scientist was invented, not optimistic or sourced by bad luck. It was completely manufactured, and Mann tells you exactly why he did it.
And I resisted the temptation for years, but I knew that if I just pressed that button, then somebody would come and save me.
That's the beacon. Go back to the fork, to the beacon that outweighed Edmund's better numbers. It was never data, it was a flare. A drowning man hitting the panic button and praying somebody would mistake his fear for discovery. And somebody did. Cooper. Cooper's whole objective case rested on one thing the other planet didn't have, a live signal. And it was the one exhibit in that room that was invented outright. The rational choice was built on a fraud. The irrational love speech was built on real readings and sound physics. Now, you might push back here that Cooper couldn't have known man was lying, so the call was reasonable at the time. And sure, it looked reasonable, but that's the trap the movie builds on purpose. And that defense collapses on the film's own terms. Nobody in that room pretended man's data was better. The case was always the beacon. Cooper chose against the stronger data on the one variable a desperate man could fake. A live thumbs up doesn't tell you a planet is habitable, it tells you the transmitter still has power. Cooper treated a heartbeat like a verdict. And if you're wondering whether the science actually holds up, whether a planet hugging a black hole really would come out sterile, I've got you. Gargantua, the black hole in this movie, was built by Kip Thorne, an actual Nobel Prize-winning physicist. Nolan didn't make the science up, he hired the guy. And Thorne wrote a whole book about it, The Science of Interstellar, walking through every call the film makes, what's real, what's a guess, and what he had to fight Nolan on. It's the receipts for everything I'm arguing right now. The link's in the description. It's an affiliate link, so grabbing it kicks a little back to the channel at no extra cost to you, and it genuinely helps me out. Alright, now back to Cooper, because his call is about to get somebody killed. Choosing Mans didn't just waste time, it bled. While Cooper is off fighting man, Romilly is back at the base, trying to crack open the data man left locked up. The man who faked an entire planet did not leave his secrets sitting out in the open. Romilly figures it out too late.
Man was lying.
Then the compound blows. Man booby-trapped his own work and the report comes back over the comms.
Dr. Brand, Cooper, there's been an explosion. Dr. Mann's compound.
And of everyone on that ship, Romilly is the one who'd already paid the most. He's the man who waited alone in the dark while the others dropped to Miller's planet for a couple of hours. Hours that cost him 23 years. They came back the same age they left. He gave all that to this mission, and the thing that finally kills him is a bomb left behind by the man Cooper chose over Brand's science. Not a freak accident in deep space, but a trap. One Brand's call would have steered the whole crew clear of. And the ship pays too. Cooper himself reads out where the wreck leaves them.
Okay, navigational hub has been completely destroyed. We don't have enough life support to make it back to Earth, but I think we can scratch our way to Edmund's planet.
It's the exact planet Brand begged them to choose at the fork. They burned the years, lost Romilly, and broke the ship. And Cooper is the one who has to say it out loud.
And a powered slingshot around, launching us towards Edmund's planet.
So they end up at Edmund's planet anyway. The difference is everything in between. Brand's call would have flown them there with a full crew and an intact ship. Cooper's call routed them through a murderer, a fake planet, and a bomb. Same finish line, but the detour is the whole tragedy. The movie never runs the clean version, and I won't pretend it does. We don't get to watch the timeline where they sailed to Edmonds on the first try, so I can't prove nobody would have died on that path, but what I can prove is which path the film chose to punish, and it punished Cooper's. Everybody, every wreck, every lost year stacks on the side of the man who overruled the science, and Brand's planet just sat out there, quietly waiting to be right. She even called out the shape of it before he made the mistake.
You might have to decide between seeing your children again and the future of the human race.
Then the wrong call happened, and that's the exact box he ends up trapped in. The scientist he dismissed read the future correctly twice in one conversation. And there's a pattern under it if you want one. The internet remembers Cooper as the disciplined head and the Miller's Planet disaster, the 23 lost years, as the emotional screw-up. But go back to that briefing. The crew talks itself into the Miller's detour with Cooper driving the logic, and the room lands in the same 3 words it always does.
Okay, Cooper's right.
Miller was the start of a habit, backing the wrong rock. Here's where the movie stops hinting and just says it. The man who called the love sentimental is about to bet the whole species on it. Cooper falls into the black hole and ends up inside the Tesseract, behind Murph's childhood bookshelf, holding the one answer that gets humanity off Earth, and no way to send it. He needs a channel, a way to aim a message at one person across dimensions. Tars asks him how.
Love, Tars, love. It's just like Brand said. My connection with Murph, it is quantifiable. It's the key.
And there it is, by name. The man who told Brand her love talk might mean she was wrong now reaches for that exact idea. Not as a feeling, but as a mechanism. As the way you find one person across the universe when ordinary signals fail. And what does he send through? Go back to the farewell on Earth. He gives young Murph a watch.
One for you. One for me.
Love isn't a theme painted on at the end, it's the comms protocol. The data only gets home through a promise he made to a kid, coded into a gift that exists because he loved her. And decades later, the watch pays it off. Murph is an old woman now. The equation she's famous for is long solved. Humanity already lifted off a dying Earth on the back of it. And when she explains how she knew to keep faith in a broken watch everyone else had written off as junk, she doesn't reach for the math she spent her life on.
Because my dad promised me.
A woman at the end of her life held onto that watch through all of it. That is the thread the whole rescue hangs on across a lifetime. Not the physics, but the promise. Now, you might say the love speech is still corny and that it breaks the hard science tone. That's fine. That's taste, and taste is allowed, but corny and correct aren't opposites. You can roll your eyes at it and still admit it won the argument because the movie hands it the win on screen, in the hero's voice. Now, Edmund's planet doesn't save humanity at large. Murph's equation and the Cooper Station colonies do that. Edmund's is where Plan B lands and where Bran ends up. Helmet off, breathing open air. The film plays that beat quiet through some narration.
Bran, she's out there setting up camp alone in a strange galaxy. Maybe right now she's settling in for the long nap at the light of our new sun.
It's a maybe and it's hope, but not a guarantee. But the movie ends pointing at Edmunds as a home. The planet she fought for, the one Cooper traded away for a coward's flare, is the ground humanity's backup plan takes root in. So, the most mock speech in the movie named the right planet using real science. Cooper overruled it for a beacon that turned out to be fake, and the film spends its back half proving her right and letting Cooper survive on the very idea he mocked. So, what does that do to the rest of the movie? It flips the arc you think you saw. The usual interpretation is that Interstellar is the story of a rational man who learns at the very end that love is also real. Play it straight, and it's the opposite. It's a rational man whose rationalism gets a crewmate killed and nearly dooms the species, while the irrational woman he overruled was right the whole time, on the data and on the heart. Cold logic is the thing that keeps walking the crew into the trap. Trust the legend, trust the live signal, but ignore the better data. That makes Cooper's journey heavier, not lighter. We already know how it ends. He gets the data to Murph, humanity pulls through, so the easy version is to call him the hero who never put a foot wrong. But his big confident leadership moment, the call he makes alone with no vote in his calm pilot voice, is the worst decision in the whole film. And only at the bottom of a black hole with everything stripped away does he finally understand the thing Bran tried to hand him for free in that room. Watch it again with that lens and that famous love speech stops being the embarrassing part. It becomes the idea the movie spends 2 more hours quietly proving while the audience laughs along. The smartest person in that room was the one everybody decided was the weak link. And drop your thoughts on this in the comments because I know the scene splits people right down the middle and I want to hear it. And thank you so much for watching. If you want more of these, hit subscribe. And the algorithm doesn't follow its heart any more than Cooper did, but it just made a call about what it think you'll like next, so go check it out.